to give us a quick prezi about it.
Do you mind if I just do? I'm going to do a lightning one because I think we want to talk about this film rather than what it was about. So I'm going to really summarize it really quickly.
Okay.
This is about it follows the surrender into Allied hands of the second in command of the Third Reich, Hermann Göring. He was one of the few top Nazis who was ever actually captured after the war. Most of them sort of suicided. He is arrested, and they're trying to go through the process of, is there a precedent for actually putting these Nazi war criminals on trial? Because it's never happened before. Normally, the victors normally execute the severe, people who commit crimes.
Yeah.
They don't tend to put them on trial. So this was like a new precedent in actually having a war crimes trial. But the main focus of the story is the relationship between Göring and his psychiatrist, who's sent in basically to see if they can understand the mind of this monster, but find enough information to prosecute him for war crimes and crimes against humanity and crimes against world peace. So that's it. Now, you've got Russell Crowe as a behemoth of Hermann Göring, who himself was a big man.
Yep.
So he's a big man playing this big character. You've got Rami Malek playing the psychiatrist. And then you've got a lot of big hitters who play some of the sort of the secondary roles.
Yeah.
But, the focus is of these two, Rami Malek versus Russell Crowe. Now, my big point, and I said this to Sean yesterday, I have a problem with a film that makes Hermann Göring sympathetic. I don't know if that was their intention. I feel that their intention was to say monsters, people who commit these crimes, are not set apart. They're not like, look at them up there, I'm glad I'm not like that.
Yeah.
They're saying, monsters walk among us. Yeah. We have it within us as part of the human condition to do monstrous things.
Yeah.
And by sort of saying to these people, they were just monsters, we are like detaching ourselves from that sort of corporate responsibility for the crimes that humanity does against humanity.
Yeah.
But what it ended up doing, that was what I think they were intending to do. But what I think they ended up doing was, by fleshing out the character of Hermann Göring so much, making him a loving father, he was, making him as like an affectionate husband, he was. But he was also one of the masterminds behind the final solution.
Yeah.
And by humanizing him so much, I think they've almost made him more sympathetic than the Allies. And in some points, by trying to point out in the film that actually the Allies weren't all perfect, because, hey, they made a mistake, or they had strategies, or they did things that, weren't blameless. By trying to sort of shine that light, saying actually we are all capable of doing these monstrous things, but actually they are the ones who actually did it. By humanizing him, I think they've actually made him a sympathetic character, which was something I felt, as having watched it, I was not comfortable with that. Shawnee, I'm out. That's me out for the time being.
That's it. Yeah, no, I know you were really, that was the real big bugbear for you. My big bugbear was Rami Malek. He cannot act to save his life. I have not seen him in one decent film. He is absolutely pants. It's ridiculous. And he goes to the top. He goes to the top of the hated actors tree.
Oh, good Lord. Sean, we're running out of branches on your hated actors tree. I'm sorry.
Even Sharon, you got to admit, Sharon, he was awful.
Well, that was why the contrast, because you see Russell Crowe sort of imbue this character with sort of humanity, with humour, with sort of that warmth. You can see that love of his family. You can see, and then then he's up against this sort of almost like blank canvas where you don't feel that sort of the battle of equals. There's this unequal battle, and in the film he's sort of like, you can see how he's like a master manipulator, and it almost feels like that's what's happened in the film, that he completely overshadows Rami Malek. He's just left.
I will give you that. Rami Malek is quite a cold presence. Rami Malek is not somebody you want to.
I didn't like him in Oppenheimer. I didn't like him in most things I've seen him in.
How about Twilight, Breaking Dawn Part 2?
Oh, he's even bad in that, wasn't he? I mean, I'm not keen on Twilight, but I remember that one.
A film that we know Sean has very intimate knowledge of, the second Twilight movie, the second part of the Twilight saga, the fifth Twilight movie.
That's a big battle, isn't it? That's a big battle. And is he one of the Romanians or something? One of the Romanians?
He's
ripped off.
Yeah.
Well, anyway. Yeah, I think I do feel like you're a bit onto a loser if you're casting Rami Malek as a character you're supposed to warm to.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Also, I thought in this film there was a lot of like I don't know, what do you call them, subplot, or just like things that were unnecessary
Yeah,
and
that make no sense. Yeah.
didn't need to be. What was the point of them? You know, like they go, oh yeah, I'll go and visit. You know, these people
Well,
going, but why are they in it? We just want to see about the trial. You know, why would you suddenly?
yeah. The most
know?
powerful part of it was the trial, and the most powerful part of the most powerful part was seeing real footage, and that sort of left you sort of stunned into silence, really, when you're watching it. And I
Yeah.
could feel myself, the impact of those images renders the rest of the film, you know, it's sort of slightly uncomfortable setting. You're seeing these sort of deeply disturbing images that were shown at the Nuremberg trials to
Yep.
show the depth of what happened, and yet it's against a backdrop where it's almost showing Goering as being, you know.
Yeah. It's
Wow.
yeah.
The whole point where we're supposed to get that realization. There's one scene where we're supposed to sort of go, my eyes are on, you know, the scales have dropped from my eyes. I see him for what he is. It doesn't really work. Because there's one scene in the courtroom where they're all like, they sort of, something happens and they all go, yeah, we've got him. And then you're thinking, actually, it was quite underwhelming. So you're not left with that. Yes, the monster is unmasked. I thought that moment didn't really deliver.
Yeah.
And so for me, I feel that the intentions might have been there, but the intent versus the delivery, I think to me, I felt it lacked. And in some ways, I felt it was doing that trial a misservice.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah,
how many stars?
Yeah. I mean, you know. Well, yeah. I mean, this was. I think this was something I was quite looking forward to, and I was majorly disappointed.
All right.
And as I say, Remy Malek goes above Jason Clarke. So
I've just literally written down a list because I think we need to keep a list of this thing. I've got Rami Malek, Jason Clarke, Stanley Tucci.
I was going to say, where's Stanley Tucci in this?
yeah, well, he's like third at the moment. Although I'm sure there must be someone else who's you know.
I feel like the way Shorty's talking about it is like Shorty's like Rami Malek has actually just convinced me that Stanley Tucci's a good actor. That's how much I know.
Yeah, well, there you go. So yeah, for me, I don't know, Sharon, what do you reckon? I mean,
well, I'm torn between a 2 and a 3. A 2.
Exactly the same. Yeah,
because I felt the content, some of it, I just didn't think it delivered. But
Yeah.
I think Russell Crowe has delivered his best performance in years.
Oh
Yeah.
wow!
I really think he carried this film completely, which is unfortunate because he played a Nazi and a notorious.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. It's a 2 because there was a lot of unnecessary padding out, which you didn't need. You didn't need, you know, if we wanted to see a trial, and it would have been nice. I mean, the thing is, it did focus on Hermann Goering, and yet they're not really. You didn't really see any of the others, did you? Really?
They like Rudolf Hess is introduced, but then they do nothing with it. Some of the other, because there were 22 men were tried on at the same time, because they weren't like the big names. Like they make a big point of saying, like, Admiral Donitz, he's the one who did all this. He's going to be on trial, never mentioned again.
Yeah.
And then this person, he's like this great Nazi. This is what he's done. This is what he's guilty of. Never see him again.
Yeah.
So it's a wasted opportunity, really. But I would say, in some ways, I was thinking I was toying with the 3 because I think Russell Crowe deserved a star just for himself. But I think really it's 2. For me, it's 2.
It's big disappointment. Big disappointment.